welcome back to Who's Watching.
Who's Watching, yes.
And to our first ever episode of Jordan v. Scott. So basically, as passionate fans, sometimes we have conflicting views.
Yes.
So today we're going to fight about the stuff that keeps us up at night, which really does not matter.
No.
In the grand scheme of things. Today we're going to be talking about Heaven Sent.
Yes. Story that you like.
I love Heaven Sent.
And I'm not too keen on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can let us know in the poll who you think's right. Or
Yes.
let me rephrase that. You can let us know in the poll that you think I'm right.
Or you think I'm right. Yes.
So, anyway, for those of you who aren't aware, a brief synopsis of Heaven Sent.
Yep.
It starts off on a high note already. Clara's dead. That's a good place to
That's
start.
probably going to be the one good thing
That's a good place to
say
start
about it.
The Doctor has been teleported. He's got no TARDIS. At this point, he doesn't even have a sonic screwdriver. But I don't think he's got his sunglasses with him. And he's just in this castle on his own, slowly being stalked by his childhood nightmare, which is coming to kill him. And I'm sorry, if you don't love that premise already on its own, what is wrong with that premise? Come on, you've got his childhood nightmare coming to kill him on his own in a castle.
It's... Heaven Sent. I don't like the Confession Dial arc anyway. It's his second series, isn't it?
Yes.
Of that one. So I don't like that arc anyway. I think for me, the thing is, I know it's Time Lord technology, but is he in the Confession Dial?
Yes, he is inside the Confession Dial.
Right, okay. I don't get the castle setting. I know there's that whole... Isn't there a myth or something that the castle moves and...
It does.
It's sort of something, but then there's a myth
move
in real life where there's a castle that was supposed to move or something. So I don't know if it's based on that. But I think ultimately this will just come down to me. I don't like stories when there's not a companion in it, which is why I'm not keen on Deadly Assassin particularly, because that's Tom Baker on his own.
I think it very much depends on the story and the Doctor, and personally for me, Capaldi is such a good actor.
Oh yes,
you can just watch. I think that episode is genuinely like an hour long. It does not feel like an hour. It does not feel like an hour. You get one of the best performances I think anyone has ever given as the Doctor in this episode. You see him fighting with his inner demons, not just because he's going through a mourning period, but he is, and you've got some great monologues in there. I mean, if you were allowed to use TV monologues for drama college auditions and stuff, you'd see me doing these everywhere. They are so good. They've got the one where he's being interrogated. When he's in the room and he throws the thing out the window and he jumps out of it.
Because you won't see this coming.
There are lots of different moments where he's talking to himself.
He's in like the bedroom bit, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I really like the resetting thing, and I love the ending. It's brilliant. I love the reveal.
He's on Gallifrey.
No, not that bit. The reveal that he's the first Doctor you see do it is not the first Doctor that's appeared there. That pile of dust on the floor is him. He's already collecting to the point. There's the skull, which he doesn't yet know is also him, and him punching away. I can only think of maybe two other Doctors that can punch a wall in an episode, and you'd be like, yep. Only two other Doctors would punch their way through an unbreakable wall, and that little speech about the bird that picks up a pebble and removes an entire mountain.
If I didn't know better, I'd say I'd traveled 12,000 years into the future. How many seconds? In eternity. Shepherd's Point. 600,000 years into the future.
How many seconds in eternity? The shepherd's boy says.
1,200,000 years into the future.
The shepherd's boy says.
2 million years into the future.
The shepherd's boy says.
20 million years into the future.
The shepherd's boy says.
This is mountain of pure diamond. It takes an hour to climb it, and an hour to go around it.
$52 million years.
Every 100 years, a little bird comes and sharpens its beak on the Diamond Mountain.
Nearly 1 billion years.
And when the entire mountain is chiseled away, the first second of eternity will have passed.
Well over 1 billion years.
You must think that's a hell of a long time.
2 billion years.
Personally, I think that's a hell of a... Personally, I think that's a hell of a bird.
I think the thing for me with this story is I don't get it. I don't get how the Time Lords are supposed to be trying to get him to confess something.
So they...
It's the
whole
hybrid, isn't it?
thing, which
That's another thing I
will
don't
admit.
like.
I will concede
And
that the
I
hybrid
think
is
that
a bad
maybe
storyline.
that's what I
But-
don't get about this story is how him being in a castle that moves with some cloak guy chasing him, how that's supposed to get him to confess what he knows about the hybrid.
Because every time he makes a confession, it freezes, and then it moves. So the only way for him to escape, and that's why he is at the end, he realises that if he tells the Time Lords about the hybrids, he'll be allowed to get into his TARDIS and escape.
Right, okay.
So that's the point where, so they think they've got him against a wall, and we all know that the last place you want to have the Doctor
Yeah.
is trapped
Backed
against
up
something.
against something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I just think it's solely just based on his performance. I think it's one of the best episodes of.
No, I'll agree
modern
with that
or
there,
classic
is
Who.
that Peter Capaldi gives a very good performance in this one.
And no Clara.
And no Clara,
Yeah.
but I think for me, strangely, and again, this comes down to the fact that I don't like stories where the Doctor's on his own. For me, the best bit of it was when she was in it. When he sees her in the dream and she tells him to buck his ideas up and whatever. Just because I think the Doctor needs a companion. That's my stomach rumbling. I'm so sorry if you can hear that.
See, for me, in that episode, it just proved to, like, in my own thought, that
Yeah.
that entire series would have been better if he was on his own.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of that series, Clara doesn't need to be in it.
I-
Is that the series? That's the series she leaves in, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of that she didn't need to be in at all because they'd already got rid of her at the end of the last one.
Yes, they have.
So
Yeah.
I think that she didn't need to be brought back. But I think the Doctor on his own doesn't. I think because as well, I always connect more with the companion than I do with the Doctor. I don't really sort of. What's the word I'm looking for when you
the nice calibration,
like connecting to someone?
I think if you
empathise more with the companion than I do with the Doctor.
I don't think you'd appreciate companions as much, because I know that sometimes they get really annoying. I think you need these buffers, these episodes where he's just on his own, to appreciate the also how much the companions actually bring to the show. So Midnight, brilliant episode. I think these episodes as a sort of calibration work really well, so that you can appreciate that maybe the Doctor does need these companions for one reason or another.
Oh yeah, no. I think the
companion
stops the Doctor from going too far sometimes.
Yes.
I think that sort of works, and I think that's something as well in the Deadly Assassin. Because Sarah Jane's not there, but because Tom Baker's Doctor hates the Time Lords so much.
They all do.
Is that but he sort of stops himself from going too far, but I think you need a companion there anyway to give the Doctor a bit more of a human perspective on something than a Time Lord perspective, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
I think, but I'll agree with you there that sometimes you do need stories where you can get into the Doctor's head a little bit more.
Did I just win?
But I think the thing with me, for Heaven Sent, is I don't get how on earth that setting was supposed to get him to confess what he knew.
The thing, you see it starting to work.
I just don't get it. What the Time Lords were thinking was that was going to make him confess, because he doesn't in the end.
Well, the monster is taken straight out of his nightmare. He says specifically in the episode that it was something that he'd seen on Gallifrey that had given him nightmares as a child.
Oh, right.
Which presumably, I'm just going to throw in some super old classic Who terms.
Yeah.
Presumably they pulled that from the Matrix.
I would imagine so. Yeah. Yeah.
So the way that they're manipulating him as well is it's a very personal attack for the Doctor.
Yeah.
There's they're constantly coming for him, and those of you who know lots about the Doctor, you know everything we know about the Doctor's personal life. You know that he grew up in basically a care home. So there's a fan theory that says that the mummy in that is actually his mother, that he lost at a young age, and then was, he said left out, prepared for burial, and then left out in the heat to turn into, this horrible thing. So it's as a monster, if you add that's it's a fan theory, so take with a pinch of salt. But if you add that extra layer on top of it,
I'd probably have liked that a bit more.
The monster
if they'd have
more
done
of a
that.
confliction, and
I
you
think
can
maybe
see
if
why
they'd
he'd
have-
want to be as far away from possible from this thing, because it is such a confliction inside him.
You having said that, I was sat thinking I'd probably like that story more if that was true. If it had been his mum, and had they sort of explained it, but then I suppose it goes, the Doctor's this mysterious character that you're never going to 100% know everything about him.
If they start telling you these things, though, it would make less fan theories, and fan theories are always fun.
Yes,
they are.
And I think as well it comes down to Stephen Moffat could sometimes be a little bit too confusing, a little bit too mysterious.
One of the things I like about this
explain some of the things that he should have maybe explained.
It gives you enough to come up with your own conclusions and things. As a good thinker, but there's not enough. There's not too much. You can watch this episode having not watched any other Doctor Who, and it still works as a solo episode, which is something that a lot of Moffat's, especially his later stuff, does not do.
No, you have to have watched all.
You
the
have
stuff
to have watched
before.
everything that Moffat has ever done for
Yeah.
most of it to make sense. So I think that it's a really good one you can just show someone that. I mean, if there were quite a few people who didn't stick through Capaldi's era or didn't like Capaldi's Doctor, and this is one of the episodes I'd always cite and say, if you want, it's such a good distillation. You know what I mean? You get
Yeah,
his Doctor.
yeah.
That's 100. And I
Yeah.
don't think you've got enough of just his Doctor in his era. It was too much being filtered, especially with Clara.
I think with Clara,
I think-
it was more focused on her, wasn't
exactly.
it?
So it was nice just to have him, and it was.
Yeah.
I think this episode was specifically the moment where I thought, as a fan, I really like this Doctor. I think I'd liked him beforehand, but that was the point where I quite realised how brilliant his portrayal had actually been.
Yeah, I mean, I like Peter Capaldi. He is my favourite modern Doctor, Peter Capaldi. But I just don't get it. It's one of those. I just don't get the story. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it other than I don't get it.
Strong arguments there.
I mean, I can't be the only one that
Probably not.
doesn't like this story or doesn't sort of. I mean, I don't hate this story because I don't think it's the worst Doctor Who story that's ever been written.
No, because we both watched Time in the Rani.
Yeah, I would say that Time in the Rani's got to be down there. But I don't get its appeal. I don't get the story itself. I don't get it. And I think that is a result of how confusing and how much I didn't like the whole hybrid arc and the confession dial arc. But then I think there probably are elements of it where you have to have watched some of the bits before a little bit. You have to sort of know that it's sort of where the Doctor sort of comes from, if you get what I mean.
I think
Where he's coming from in that anger thing. Like, you have to know what happened to Clara, and you have to know what happened to this, that, and the other.
you get a little bit at the beginning though, and he says all about it. So I think you get without seeing the rest of it. Like,
Yeah.
So my girlfriend didn't really. She stopped watching with Capaldi because the writing got so bad, which is, in her opinion, which fair enough.
Yeah.
A lot of the writing wasn't so great.
Yeah.
I showed her that episode, and she got it. You know, she knew what was happening in it. It was, yeah.
Then,
So I feel like it's not just me saying that. I feel like I've
Yeah.
shown it to someone that
Yeah.
hadn't watched
Yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
preamble.
Yeah, no,
and I did
that's
say
fair
just
enough, yeah.
beforehand, you know, companion has died.
yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
You know, companion has died. He's been teleported off. So admittedly, I did give a little bit of
Why
background.
does he dig a grave?
He doesn't. He thinks he's unburying something. There's a plot of land and a shovel, so he thinks it's just been buried. So he's trying to find out what's
Right,
underneath.
okay.
He thinks he's
See,
going to find something.
this is the thing with this story, is that it's things like that. And I don't get why he dug the grave, and I don't get why he does this, and why he does that.
Maybe
it's-
you should watch more Doctor Who.
It-
Oh, that's rich because he's seen more than I have.
I don't know. I think this one will always be one of those that just comes down to I don't get it. I think, at least with Midnight, I've got a little bit more of a constructive argument with Midnight as to why I'm not too keen on it. And you know, I mean, there are things that I do like about it. But this one, I think it's always going to come down to I just don't get it. But there you go. I mean, I can't be the only person who doesn't.
Let us know.
Like this
let us
story
know in
doesn't
the poll,
understand
and if
it.
you have any specific points,
Yeah.
let us know in the comments
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.